We have started a linguistics handout, which myself and one of our previous consultants, Karina, started last quarter in spring, and basically the purpose was we wanted a resource for consultants to use in sessions when working with ESL students. Kind of the idea being that we'd have like a page for each language with some common errors and differences, and how to help students recognize those in their writing and also be able to fix them. And so currently right now we have Mandarin, Vietnamese, Russian, Spanish, and Swahili as the languages that we have write-ups for. And it's kind of nice because we can like interview staff who are multilingual and ask them what some like translation errors could be, or maybe things like if their language has articles or verb tenses and things like that. And so right now the handout's about 6 pages, but we'd like to expand it to have as many languages as possible and for consultants to be able to reference it during their sessions.
So after looking through your paper, I noticed a lot of patterns that students who come in struggle with if their first language is Cantonese or Mandarin. For example, the first one here, where you say dog ate yesterday, one thing that's missing is an article. So in front of dog, you would say the dog ate yesterday.
But like, why we need this the?
So you put the article because it specifies like who you're talking about or what you're talking about. Instead of saying a dog, it's a lot more general. You say the dog. You're talking about something specific. So the dog ate yesterday. And also another thing I noticed in your other in the other part is student are tired. Since are is a plural verb, you would say students are tired. And do you notice anything from here that we fixed up here? There's one more thing we need to put in front of students.
So the students are tired.
Yes, because you're being specific with who the students are. So the students are tired. And let's say we try and make this into a singular sentence. What do you think you would do?
The student is tired.
Yes. So you change the verb to is, since you're being singular now, and then students to student.
So it would be the student.
Yeah, is tired. So you can do it both ways. But overall your paper was good, but yeah, there were definitely these patterns that a lot of students who speak Mandarin or Cantonese struggle with.
Chinese, that language is very different than English for several different reasons. Probably the biggest would be that in Chinese there are no articles, so words like a and the just aren't really used at all in Chinese, and so that can be really hard for students to remember to include those. So saying something like I'm sitting at the table, generally the word the would be excluded and it would just be sitting at table. Another common error that can occur is with countable and non-countable nouns. So for example, Chinese doesn't distinguish between those. An example of that would be saying something like research or information. Those would be examples of non-countable nouns, but since there's no differentiation in Chinese, a Chinese student might say researches or informations, which you wouldn't say in English. Another difference comes in with nouns and adjectives. It's very common that in Chinese the nouns and adjectives and also verbs can kind of have like multiple meanings. So for example, in English you might say I felt very safe in the class, versus Chinese you could make the word safe turn into a verb, and it could be I felt very safety in the class. So it's a lot more interchangeable usage of a lot of words than you would in English.